All right, we've come out of closed session. Is there anything to report?
The City Council met in closed session to consider items 3B and 3C. There was no reportable action. Item 3A has been, the special meeting has been adjourned until the conclusion of the regular meeting where item 3A will be considered.
Okay. All right, we closed closed session. So do I have to get that? All right. All right, we have closed session. So if anyone wishes to address the city council on any item considered at this meeting before or during council's consideration of that item, please enter your name in the electronic kiosk located in the lobby. The city council will allocate up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker for each agenda item. Staff reports are available online at the city's website, also in the public view binder located on the podium at the north side of the chambers. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Aaron, do you want to start?
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have our invocation with Lori. Did you try to sit down?
He did.
Oh, gosh.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Will you bow with me in a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of freedom that we have to voice concerns to our leaders. Help everyone to be clear and respectful to one another, remembering that we are all fellow citizens of Reading. As Scripture states, let the favor of the Lord of God be upon us and establish the work of our hands. We ask you for wisdom and guidance as our council deliberates on issues vital to our city's future. Grant them insight, integrity, and a spirit of service to benefit all residents. We ask for protection for our first responders, that they may go home after each shift healthy and whole. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Okay, we'll start with roll call.
Councilmember Audette,
Here.
Vice Mayor Danuka,
Present.
Councilmember Munns,
Here.
Mayor Pro Temp Resner,
Here.
Mayor Latot.
Here. All right, we'll start with public comment. Pursuant to the Brown Act, City Council cannot take action on public comment items. The City Council will allocate up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker for 30 minutes total at the beginning of the meeting for public comment for non-agendized matters within the city's jurisdiction. The mayor would determine the order of the speakers. If 30 minutes is not adequate to accommodate all of the individuals who have submitted their name through the electronic kiosk, the council will trail this item to the end of the open session agenda, and the remaining speakers will address the City Council at this time. All right.
Yeah.
Did I
Just-
miss something?
I'm just wondering if you'd be willing to do a moment of silence
Yeah.
for Congressman Doug
I will.
Lamalfa.
I'll also like that.
I think that'd be a great idea. So we're going to take a moment of silence if you guys would all like to rise and for Congressman Doug Lamalfa. All right, thank you. You may be seated.
Yep. I just want to, if I may,
Absolutely.
Doug will be missed by all the people as his dear friend, but also one of the principled conservative and strong advocate for our rural Northern California. So may God bless his soul and his family may find strength.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, we do have multiple public speakers. We do have more than 10, but I'm going to let everybody go and speak, so we will not wait till the end of the meeting today. So I think we're just over the threshold of 10. So we're going to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak on that. We're going to start with Kathy. I believe it's Kathy Grindstaff. And after Kathy, we're going to go to Joe. And I believe the last name is Dokes. Forgive me if I pronounced that last wrong. Correct me when you get up there.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Grindstaff, and I am the project director for Shasta County Chemical People. Primary prevention is the first pillar of the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's SAMHSA overdose prevention strategy and the focus of Chemical People's strategies for more than 40 years. So I'm here to ask you to allow us to do a formal presentation and support us with funds the City of Reading has received from the opiate settlements. To date, Reading has received over $2.1 million with more to come. These funds have been paying out since as early as 2022. These funds would go a long way to expanding and developing our programs within the City of Reading. Primary prevention focuses on intervening before a disease or condition occurs. Estimates show a tenfold return on investments made in evidence-based substance use prevention programs and activities. And those evidence-based prevention strategies have long-term cost-saving benefits for both personal and the public's health. I have been told that I am pretty good at laying on the Catholic guilt, so here goes. Most of my friends and colleagues, and this is a quote, most of my friends and colleagues have participated in or know someone who has participated in a program sponsored by Chemical People. Were you in Teen Leaders? Did you go to the Western States Youth to Youth Conference? Were you in Friday Night Live? Did you participate in the Red Ribbon Week activities or march with your school through the City of Reading with a banner? Were you a peer mentor? Were you in Club Live? Did you attend your sober grad night? If you were in even one of these activities or have a child or sibling who was, you have been impacted by Chemical People. This is a quote from a much-loved and admired former teacher, Cindy Daisy. I can add to this long list of programs with every 15 minutes, court-mandated victim impact panel classes, national drug take-back events, and many others that support our mission of reducing and eliminating substance abuse among our population. Finally, you have a unique opportunity to help mitigate the horror of substance abuse in our community by wisely choosing how to fund changes that will help reduce use and abuse of substances. Chemical People is the only organization in the city and county that provides the reach and scope of substance abuse prevention strategies, hands-on, working with youth, not just one-off assemblies or events. We do not just sit in front of our computers and create ads and social media campaigns. We are boots on the ground and have been for over 40 years. Please consider allowing us to formally request your support and funding by using the opiate settlement funds for substance abuse prevention programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. And after Joe, I see a Robert. I don't have a last name, so.
I'm here to express my concerns and dismay at the removal of Chief Barner. I understand each of you was not notified prior to this action. What did council know and when did you know it? Having conducted hundreds of investigations, criminal, civil, and administrative, against citizens and peace officers alike, I was trained in a legal and equitable manner how investigations are done. This did not occur and calls into question ulterior motives, deep bias, and conflict of interest in the experience of those conducting this personnel matter. I have reviewed the allegations and they don't come close to the removal of a critical department head. I am disgusted at the onerous way Chief Barner was removed from duty, the seizing of his badge and gun, and the failure to even allow him to retrieve his personal property from his office. I am concerned that Chief Barner's peace officer powers were terminated by a city that he has served for more than 29 years. This is unconscionable for a non-criminal investigation. Kibler and Curtis have left Reading residents with a distasteful and distrustful feeling about the city and how it treats its valuable employees. We are requesting the following. 1, immediately assert control and oversight of all city functions from Kibler and Curtis. Each of you as council members have been tainted by their actions. 2, direct a fair and impartial outside investigation of the allegations or dismiss them immediately as having no substantial merit. 3, conduct concurrent impartial investigations into Kibler and Curtis for failing to notify council. Determine Kibler and Curtis's core training level in conducting investigations. Determine Kibler and Curtis's individual culpability for this unsanctioned action. Terminate Kibler and Curtis for failing to notify council on critical decisions. Strip them of any authority regarding this matter for the remainder of their hopefully short tenure. 4, Kibler and Curtis have a glaring and what can only be described as an incestuous conflicts of interest. Even a rudimentary look at Curtis's employment in Mendocino County would have revealed he was described as incompetent, costing the county hundreds of thousands of dollars. From news articles, Curtis had an acrimonious conflict with law enforcement. Please see the articles you have been given. They raise serious issues about who you hired, the hiring process, and the backgrounds done, if any. I wonder if any of you are aware of the extent of Curtis's colored background. 5, please put any offer of employment for Mr. Curtis on the agenda and not as a closed item. In summation, what has happened has been immediately destructive to our city. Please fix this and report on all actions as you are legally able, keeping Chief Barner's exemplary service in the forefront of your minds. Real harm has been done by these biased employees, and the city is at risk of being sued. Terminate Kibler and Curtis for cause so this embarrassment never happens again. Thank you, council.
Robert, you're up.
Good evening, council. Thank you, Joe. I agree with you. Good evening and Happy New Year. Chief Barner, welcome back. I reckon it wasn't a very happy New Year for the chief and his family. On December 30th, 2025, a cryptic and woefully inadequate memo was issued by interim city manager Kerry Keebler, placing Chief Barner on leave with no explanation, no reasons, and most egregious of all, no consultation with our mayor, Mike Latow, and our vice mayor, Paul DeNuca. All under a cloak of confidentiality and secrecy. Our chief was made to turn in his badge and surrender his service revolver to an interim manager who had been on the job for 5 minutes. I don't think anyone else knew. If anyone gave other direction, that's something we need to know. This matter cannot simply be swept under the carpet. It belies a systemic breakdown. The silence over the long, cold weekend was deafening. A full explanation and an apology must be forthcoming for the vastly inappropriate and unwarranted action to our chief, who has loyally and faithfully served our community for 29 years. I'm sure you've debriefed in closed session. We, your constituents, need and require assurance that this will not happen again. Therefore, I ask for the immediate termination of the interim manager and Council Curtis, who have shown serious and gross errors in judgment. As for the new and experienced city manager, I see he's on the agenda for tonight. Good. Approve and bring him on ASAP. If his start date is delayed, what if you left the seat vacant? Or what if you had the mayor and vice mayor handle business short term? We need to know your plan of action to prevent this from happening in the future. But just telling you to contact you is not enough. We need to know what happened. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Robert. All right, we're gonna try to move along so we can get every speaker in. Marge, you're gonna be up, Marge Cantrell, and then after Marge, David Ledford.
City council members and staff and concerned citizens. I'm back again to ride my broom. I have told you before that I've been here for over 70 years, and I am concerned about the Reading budget. And as you know, there have been a number of comments in regards from not only council members, but public members in regards to what's going on now. And I can tell you the prior city council spent money like there was no end to it. And there were so many 3-2 votes on budgetary matters that some of us got very, very upset. Now we're in deep water. Now you are trying to improve things by going through each particular item. I know that the largest budget item is the PERS city benefits, your payroll, and your retirement expenses are only increasing because you can retire at 55, or if you were on Social Security rather than the private pension plan, you would have to wait till you're 62. There are a number of cities across the United States that have gone bankrupt, and they have made adjustments by either reducing the number of employees, going to a Social Security system, or paying attention to the small expenses. By small expenses, I mean how many cars do you have for employees that just drive back and forth to work? How many catered luncheons do you have? How many extra expenses for somebody who comes to town and visits? There are matters in the budget that need to be taken care of immediately, and as a longtime number cruncher, I can tell you they can be found in this city council and staff, just like we have had to do at home. Thank you.
David, if you're here, you're up. After David, Dolores, you'll be on deck.
Hello, my name is David C. Ledford. Myself and my family lived here in Reading for my whole life. I'm a local business owner. My company supports this community every chance we get. I'm also a member of 2 nonprofits and on 2 local boards. I stand here today to express my deep discomfort with how the city of Reading has slandered our good chief. We have all seen a safer and cleaner community under Chief Barner's watch. The man has a crystal clean record serving law enforcement for over 29 years. Why would someone subject him and his family to this public humiliation? The accusations seem very petty and would probably be explainable. By no means something to remove a police chief over. Why was none of this brought to the city council? I'm not sure how the manager was appointed, but I would think there's probably someone far better suited or qualified to make those kind of decisions. I would expect this kind of behavior from someone who has no experience as a manager of any kind, not someone who is running our city. The amount of incompetence that the manager has shown is obvious. If anyone needs to be removed from a position, it should be Ms. Kibler. I request that you immediately remove interim city manager Carrie Kibler and replace her with someone that has the experience necessary to hold that seat. I also request that you do not provide the city attorney, Curtis, with a new contract. Replace him. He has shown his incompetence just as he did in Mendocino County. I applaud all the city council members for standing up for Chief Barner. Please continue the investigation into these frivolous allegations against Chief Barner so that we may clear his good name. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you.
All right, Dolores, hold on. We're going to try to get through this so I can get more than 10 speakers in. So Dolores, thanks for being up there. The next one will be P. Sasuni. If you can be on deck and wait along there so we can try to speed things up and get everybody in there. So.
I don't like to stand on this. Good evening. My concern is the same concern regarding the chief of police here, but my concern is different. If what they're saying is true, if it is true what he did, and they put it in the news, I think that there should be an investigation, and he should not have been reinstated. What the city manager did the right thing, but they should have they actually, when they discipline or put somebody in administration leave, they don't have to give them the reason really yet until they investigate so they're able to explain to him. But if those accusations are actually true, so if they are true, because here's the thing, I'm a taxpayer, even though I live in a different city, my shopping, I shop in city of Reading. My money is, if my money's been misused, and on things that they're not supposed to do in the city, then that actually, I have a right to file a complaint against the city because you're allowing an employee or anybody to misuse the funds. So therefore, I will have grounds to file with the Attorney General a complaint if he did do all those things that he's been accused. And also, too, the crime that it says here, if he did do those crimes, it's a felony. There's multiple things that it says here,
Penal Code 424, use of police and trailer for duck hunting. That's, all these codes that I have here, they're actually a criminal felony, and he should be removed. But let's say if he did do it, then he needs to be accountable. And I don't agree that he makes $500,000 in his paycheck. How much more are we going to continue throwing money at people thinking that they should be getting that amount of money? It doesn't matter to you guys, but it matters to us because we are the taxpayers. Pretty soon you're going to run out of money. We are the ones who pay the consequences. Like I said, I do my shopping in Reading. My money's coming here. It's not going to Shasta Lake or anywhere else. I do shopping here, so I have grounds. I might not be a voter for Reading, but my money's in here. So I have a right to complain, and I have a right to file complaint. So I'm just letting you know that I will look into this, but I will also file complaint with the Attorney General I think it's under the police chiefs when they actually misconduct or do anything wrongdoing. I will have to do that because that's my job to do. So, thank you.
Okay, Gary B., Richard Lemon, Phaedra Mitchell, if you guys could all line up on that wall over there. That way we can go a little faster. I did not see P. Sasuni come up. So we'll go with Gary B.
Good evening. I want to first thank the City Council for being proactive in your response to the recent actions of your interim city manager's decision to strip Chief Barner of his peace officer powers and place him on administrative leave. Once you learned of Kerry Kibler's ill-advised actions, you calmed the public with your postings. Thank you very much for that. It worked. I'm a retired police captain from the Bay Area. After 32 years of active service, including a 3-month assignment to the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia, I was hired on contract to supervise a team of investigators in a major metropolitan city where I am still employed. I'm a post-certified internal affairs investigator, background investigator, and instructor. In the personnel arena, my experience includes supervising and approving over 30 internal affairs investigations, testifying in federal court regarding violations of the Fair Labor Standards Act, testimony before the Police Review Board on at least 10 occasions regarding internal affairs investigations, and testimony before the Civil Service Commission at least 3 times regarding hiring decisions. My wife and I moved to Reading 18 months ago. Our decision to move here was partially influenced by your proactive and very professional police department under the leadership of Chief Barner and his predecessors. Based on my training and experience over 50 years, I recommend 3 things for you to do. Number 1, hire an independent investigator to investigate these allegations against Chief Barner. Number 2, hire a second independent investigator to investigate the legality of Kerry Kibler's actions, her motivation for her actions, and whether or not she was instructed by anyone to make this ill-informed decision. Number 3, if your city attorney does not have a working knowledge of labor laws and the Peace Officer Bill of Rights, hire an attorney who does prior to taking any adverse action. In closing, I am deeply disturbed by the reckless actions of Kerry Kibler and her failure to inform you prior to taking these horrendous actions. These misguided actions have certainly tarnished Chief Barner's reputation and the respect he has earned serving the people of Reading since he was 16
All right,
years old.
your time's up. Thank you. So, Richard, you're up, Richard. Richard? Yep.
Good evening. My name is Richard Lemon. I'm a paramedic. I've served this community and worked with Chief Barner for over the last 20 years. Chief Barner, welcome back. It's a new day. I'm here to share some concerns and comments about the removal of Chief Barner. Having done and been involved in multiple investigations in my field, it does not appear that there was a proper investigation done prior to the removal by the interim city manager or the city attorney. It doesn't appear that any proper notifications to the city council, mayor, or other necessary public officials was done. The reasons for the leave do not rise to the removal of a public official the way this was done. The admin leave was inappropriate, unfounded, and it needs to be investigated as to its legality. The actions of this by the city manager caused public character assassination for Chief Barner, his family, created doubt and speculation for the fine department that he leads and the officers that serve this community. And they deserve an apology and an explanation. To suggest that Chief Barner is a public safety risk when you put him on admin leave is absolutely ridiculous after his 29 years of courageous, dedicated service to this community. It's outrageous that that happened by you. A full investigation needs to be taken into your actions, the city attorney's actions, and to who was involved and why. That's my ask of this city council. Was the city attorney involved? After doing a little bit of research, it looks like his city contract is up and for renewal, and it should be reviewed, and I would suggest that you find a better candidate. In closing, Chief Barner and his family, Alicia, Max, and Brady, did not deserve this, and they deserve a public correction and apology for this, as well as the fine men and women that he serves. Thank you.
All right. Let's try to move along. So if we can try to hold that applause so we can get every speaker in. So is this Phaedra or is this Peace?
Yes.
Phaedra, okay. Thank you.
Welcome to the city people that are here that are supporting people, the people that are here just to listen to the comments, city council members, and of course, the city council or the city managers and attorney that are here. To Ms. Kibler, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Thank you for looking people in the eye and sitting here while everybody fires at you this rapid fire. Unfortunately, Chief Barner for 29 years has done that out on the street, unprotected by a bunch of people that are sitting in a room. To the city attorney, 90% of tonight, you've sat here with your head down typing on your computer. I don't know if you're taking notes, if you're trying not to acknowledge what's gone on. To the city council members that actually came out, posted on social media, commented to the news people, thank you for being open. To the city council people that have not said anything, we wonder where your head is. And I don't mean that in a bad way, we just wonder why the silence. To Brian Barner, this is very emotional to me. I have worked with Brian since he first started at the Reading Police Department. I myself am retired from first responder work. I was a police officer in another city for 2 years, and then I dedicated my life to SHASCOM for 18 and a half years. I now dedicate my life to doing peer support for first responders that are traumatized. If you've never put on that gun or that badge, you will never know the weight of it. You will never understand what trial by fire means. You will never understand what they go through on a daily basis. Do people make mistakes and are they human? Yes, they are. Did somebody on this city make a mistake? Maybe. We're not allowed to have the internal details of what's occurred. We just see what's slandered all across the newspaper. The Brian Barner that I know, his family, the people that are here to support him, they're amazing people. I hope that Brian, if this does come to light, that this is unfounded, which I believe it will be, knowing Brian the way that I do. I believe that he is owed a very public apology. His life will forever be tainted now because everybody wants to believe the worst in our first responders. It's so easy to hate on a police officer, but yet if something's happening in your neighborhood, you want to pick up that phone, call 911, and ask for help from those same people that you want to go out and beat up on a daily basis. If you've never lived that life, go spend a couple shifts at SHASCOM. Find out what those people say and do and how they react. Go do a couple ride-alongs. Find out what the real world is really like. Not sheltered, sitting here in a chair or under the cushions of a ceiling that's going to cover you up. Those first responders out there, those are my brothers. For 18 and a half years, I protected them. Brian's father, he was one of my officer-involved shootings. If you ever want to know what it's truly like to be scared for your family, go sit there.
Okay, thank you very much.
You.
So thank you. All right. Okay, Leslie, you're on deck, and then Nick Gardner after Leslie. So if you guys could be ready. Nick? Nick, you're going to be after. Oh, I got it. Okay, got it. All right.
Nick is always ready.
Yeah, he's always ready. Okay, we're ready.
Okay, good evening. My name is Patricia Susini. I am here this evening to tell you that I am deeply concerned about the irresponsible actions of Carrie Keebler. After only 9 days in this temporary position, in stripping highly respected and long-term city employee Chief Barner of his peace officer powers and placing him on administrative leave. While I was elated to hear of his reinstatement as of 1,700 hours yesterday, I strongly recommend that an investigation be initiated surrounding Carrie Keebler's motivation behind her irresponsible and potentially costly actions. A little over a year ago, I relocated to Reading and purchased a home. I joined the Reading Newcomers Friends Club and now sitting on the board of directors. During my short tenure, I have met and conversed with many residents. I have listened to many people who have commended our police chief, Brian Barner. I have not heard one negative remark about our police department or Chief Barner. I recently spoke with him and invited him to come to one of our meetings and speak to the 250 plus members. And he wholeheartedly agreed, said, just let me know when and where, and I will be there. Who does that? He should be commended for his years of service since he was 16 years old. And just look into this and figure out what happened and get to the bottom of it. And please communicate with the public what happened. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little bit of variety because I don't like to talk about things that I don't know all the details on. So I'm not going to talk about that situation. What I am going to talk about is we have a budget meeting that we were promised. We have a new committee that we were promised was going to be coming in and looking at the budget. We have a presentation that, thanks to our old mayor, we never got to see by Ms. Tanessa. And I'm wondering, as a member of the media, if I need to host a town hall and invite her to come do her presentation there so that the community can be involved and informed on what we are still not being allowed to know. So I'd like to know when that meeting's happening, and I'd like to know when you're going to start being transparent with the public. The public that's outraged about this situation, I understand being outraged. I would be too. Again, I don't know the details, so I'm not going to state an opinion on that. But I would take that outrage and I'd start looking into whether or not you want to run for city council, because we need some members up there that want to start asking questions and getting involved and caring about our community, because Reading is a beautiful, amazing place and we need to keep it that way. And we have people up there that don't want to ask questions. They don't want to look into things and they don't care. So that being said, another thing that is a huge ball that's been dropped, as a member of the media, I sat in a meeting about the negotiations for the motocross agreement with the airport. I sat in that meeting. There were lots of fluffy promises made. There were a lot of conversations back and forth, and I have not seen anything else come back up. I know that Dr. Danuka's asked about it. I know that Tanessa's asked about it. Where's the action on that? We have a group of people who have been locked out of their facility, who have not been able to run their club, who have been long-lasting members of this community. They came, they had concerns, and they've been ignored. So let's start making some progress. Let's start working for our constituents and community members. Let's start seeing if we know somebody good that we can put up there who might give a crap about us. Thanks.
Nick, you're up. After Nick, we're going to go to John. We'll go Josh Johnson if you're here, and then Steve Kahn.
So the four of you told Danessa she didn't know what she was talking about when there's a deficit. I hope you acknowledge that she was right and you were wrong. There's too many things going on in closed session that I believe the public should be aware of. Number one, and the main one, is the vote to hire the new city manager. Why aren't we aware of what the vote was? Who voted for, who voted against? And I believe that when it came to the final 3 or 5, that the question and answering session should have been done in public. So I would like you to be more transparent and quit doing so much behind our backs. It doesn't feed well.
All right, Josh.
I hear you, Nick.
Thank you, council members. So I just wanted to come up here and mostly talk a little bit about honor. I feel like we have missed an opportunity to honor someone, and I think we need to restore that honor. So that's what my ask is tonight, is when I first heard of the news that our chief had been removed, badge taken, gun taken, I felt like, man, there must have been something really, really major that happened. And I was a little embarrassed for our city that we're going through this. Immediately thought, man, I wonder what the city council is going through, the decision they had to make along with the city manager for this. This must be huge. I felt the weight and kind of empathy for that. And then when I saw the allegations, I was embarrassed in reverse. It was, man, I can't believe that we are doing this to a man of 29 years with no disciplinary action, who's given their life to this city and committed to this community so unceremoniously. And so I saw the headlines in the newspaper the next morning, and I thought, man, his family's going through this, his kids are seeing this. I really hope that our city does the right thing, restore honor to a man who's done well for our community. Are there updates maybe to policies or maybe protocols or things that have been done in the past that you guys want to change? Go ahead and change those. That's great. Do those things. I think one of the things we could update as a suggestion, you as city council members, carry and are basically the city staff they basically walk out the council policy. You guys make and vote on a council policy, and over time those policies have been developed. Maybe there's an update to the council policy that said a public safety official such as our chief, those decisions of course are hired by our city manager, but that would be consulted first and brought before city council whenever major decisions are going to be made in those categories with any of these, because there is an element of safety and security that this position holds, and there's a weight to it, and it has a huge impact. So I just want to say thank you, Chief Barner, for what you've done in the last few years. I've gotten to know you. You've been very open to the public. I appreciate the work you've done on producing a strategic plan for the police department, the work you've done with creating a citizen academy so that the media and citizens can get involved and understand the depth of our police department and to become more aware of all that goes on in our community when it comes to keeping our community safe. So I just want to say thank you. I hope that is the headline. I hope that is the headline on the Record Searchlight, that our community will honor our chief. Thank you.
Steve, you're up, and our last speaker, Jonathan Anderson, if you could.
Good evening, council, staff, and it's good to see a bunch of community members here. I don't know how you put the genie back in the bottle. Chief Barner's, his reputation has been damaged and unjustifiably. I mean, these accusations are frivolous. I think you could go to just about any law enforcement entity in the state and accumulate a list like this. It's ridiculous. It's frivolous, and it either has a reason for occurring, or it existed prior to him even taking his position. So for it to go this far is unimaginable. I cannot believe it. And it shows very, very poor judgment. And if our city attorney was involved in this, then certainly we should not renew his contract. It's very poor judgment. Now, I don't know how we can continue to, certainly Kerry Keebler, I believe, should be removed immediately, which I guess is going to happen. I don't know. But how does she go back to personnel? How does she operate personnel now? Because she's clearly shown she has poor judgment in these issues. And now she's supposed to go back and have the respect and have, people follow her lead when I think she's been so obviously and publicly wrong. I don't think she can fill that position anymore. I think she's done. And if our city attorney advised her to pursue this path, I have to say the same for him. We've got to stop undermining our very excellent city staff, our people that have made our city great. And we're out here undermining them and tearing them apart publicly. We've got council members lambasting them publicly and claiming that they're doing a miserable job. And now we have people putting them on administrative leave, which was done for reasons of public safety or where an employee is going to do serious damage either to their department or to the city itself. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable that you would not consult the city council and just do this. I have no idea how this occurred, but there should be steps taken also so that it would never happen again. And I feel so sorry for Chief Barner because, for the rest of time, when he's Googled, this is going to pop up. I think he's got a major lawsuit. But you know what? The guy is such a beautiful person, he probably won't even sue the city. But I think he should. I probably would just to make sure it didn't happen again. Thank you.
All right, Jonathan. Jonathan, you're our closer. The last one.
No pressure. Good evening, council members. If you know me, you know my character, and you know how much I love this community. So I want to speak briefly about trust, because trust is what gives leadership its weight and credibility. We know trust has been fragile in our city for some time now. And just a few months ago, the voters of Reading sent a clear message by rejecting a tax measure. The consistent message was simple: the voting community doesn't trust our city leadership. Against that backdrop, our highest ranking law enforcement officer was placed on administrative leave without council being informed and for allegations that hadn't been investigated. That decision immediately became the largest headline at the start of the year. This is a deeply pro-law enforcement community. Our citizens strongly support the men and women who protect them. So I ask you to consider this impact. How much more distrust does this action create toward our city and our community as a whole? And even more important, in my opinion, what does it do to the reputation of the chief of police, a position that must carry the highest level of public confidence? Chief Barner has served this community faithfully for 29 years. I know none of us are perfect, and that is not the point. The point is trustworthiness. Even with human imperfections, people earn trust through a lifetime of service and character, and I believe Chief Barner is one of those people. My challenge to this city council is simple. How will you restore trust in city leadership, and how will you address what may be lasting damage to the reputation of a man who has given nearly 3 decades of service to this city? Thank you, council.
Okay. Could be reading the room wrong, but I think you're all here for the consent calendar, so we're all going to move on to that. The consent calendar contains items considered routine and/or which have been individually scrutinized by city council members and are anticipated to require no further deliberation. If a member of the public wishes to address an item on the consent calendar, please enter your name in the electronic kiosk located in the lobby before the consent calendar is considered. It shall be the prerogative of any council member before the consent calendar is acted upon to, 1, comment on an item, 2, respond to any public item on an item, 3, request the record reflect or a nay vote on an item, or 4, remove an item and place it on the regular portion of the agenda for delivery of a staff report and/or an extended discussion or deliberation. I do see.
I wanted to say something before.
Well, yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, if you may quickly allow. Thank you, Chief, for your service, and I'm happy to see you back. I also want to thank Captain Brian Call, Acting Chief, who worked professionally during this period, and all the law enforcement officers who continue to serve with integrity and professionalism, whatever the circumstances are. The elephant in the room is that the last speaker said about trust. That is definitely a question. Our city attorney has taken a position that city council is not allowed to have all the information and nor the decision-making on a personnel matter, and nor can we discuss this publicly, so I would limit myself from that. But I do see a structural issue because that removes any recourse available to the public. If we elected officials cannot do those things, who will? Therefore, in the future, I would say that to maintain the checks and balances, we will have to look at all of our policies and procedures and see how that is restored so the public can have the transparency, accountability in the decision-making, as well as we can build the trust. Thank you.
For a point of clarification, is it a state law or is it a city policy that the council cannot influence the decision of a city manager on a personnel issue?
That is a city ordinance.
That's our city ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I looked for a state law and I couldn't find any, and I asked for that question. There's no state law.
So they can vote to now have political influence over personnel. You could just change that with a simple vote on the council?
Well, you do have to go through the ordinance amendment process.
Which is what?
Which is giving direction as to how the ordinance would be structured, bringing that forward as an item for the first reading and then the second reading.
Are there any other
Would we want to
cities that
save
do
this
that?
for line item 12 at the
Yeah,
end? or
I
is this-
think
Okay.
that's probably most appropriate.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I do see a speaker for consent unless any council members want
I
to
do.
pull anything or,
I
oh,
do.
you
I
did,
just
I'm
wanna-
sorry. Okay.
Oh, do you have comments first?
No, I thought you already spoke, I'm sorry. But go for it.
Oh, no, but is there a public comment first? Because that should go first.
There is a public comment.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Yes, okay. But if we're going to pull an item, then,
I'm not pulling.
okay. So Dolores, if you're here, I think you're going to. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yes, any comment on item 415A would be appropriate at this time.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to no, I'm voting no on 41A. Just want to record my nay vote.
Okay, is there a motion on consent calendar, so?
Motion to approve all.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
And then all opposed? No, okay. All right, we're going to move on to regular calendar reports and communications of departments, boards, commissions, and committees. Item 9.9A, the appointment of William Tarbo, city manager, and consider approval of employment agreement. Carrie, are you going to start this for us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's a good catch.
Before you this evening is a recommendation to appoint William Tarbo to serve as city manager for the city of Reading and then authorize the mayor to execute his employment agreement. The city retained Peckham and McKinney to perform a comprehensive search and recruitment for the city manager position. After a thorough process, the council determined that Mr. Tarbo is the best qualified candidate for the position. With the proposed employment agreement, Mr. Tarbo's annual salary is $295,000 annually and included in the biennial budget. With benefits, the estimated cost annually is set to be just shy of $360,000 and includes other compensations such as a car allowance, cell phone stipend, and normal cost towards CalPERS retirement, insurance, Medicare, and workers' compensation. If the council takes the recommended actions tonight, the anticipated start date for Mr. Tarbo to join the city is approximately February 16th. Are there any questions I may answer for you?
We do have two speakers, so do you want to hold questions until the two speakers go, and then we can have questions and discussions? So Steve Kahn and Dolores, if you're ready, we're ready. So. And Dolores, if you'd like to wait up there, we can.
This is R98.
This is for 9A?
9A, R98? Okay, all I had with this one was, there was a whole lot of attention brought to the salaries with regard to employees for the city of Reading. And Councilwoman Adet, particularly said how the raises were, terrible, horrible thing and all that good stuff. And a lot of people jumped on the wagon saying, hey, we need to cut their wages in half, we need to, et cetera, et cetera. And so the wages that are set here are $295,000, which probably is what it takes in order to hire somebody for that position. That's only 13% below what Barry Tippin was making, and there was a big deal about that. So what's going on now? Now we're saying it's okay, and in his next raise, where's he going to be? My guess is he'll be very close or right at where Barry was. And so here there is a councilwoman that's saying how, overpaid everybody is and how the wages are so extremely high, and people saying they make $500,000, which they don't because they're taking into account all of the other retirement payments and all that they don't experience that. They don't get that in their hand as they get paid. So I don't know, where are we at on that? It's okay that pays, where we should be now, or what's the deal? And if we did cut their wage in half, you think we could fill the position? I don't think so.
Okay, Dolores.
Well, sounds like we have problems everywhere, and it sounds like nobody's paying attention and everybody's just turning the blind eye here. Almost $300,000, you're gonna be hiring a new, manager? $300,000? So by the time let's say he stays here 4 years, how much money is he gonna walk out with later, in 4 years from now? Same as the other ones? And then after that, when they leave, what happens? They continue to collect that money. So then you have to find somebody else, and then it keeps on growing. You keep on spending more and more. But $300,000, I mean, what does this guy have that somebody else doesn't have? I mean, why are you starting at that high? Are you kidding me? Are we the people made out of money? I mean, yes, this is Reading, but it's, you're going to basically drain the people because you're taking it from the people. Every time you give this amount of money to somebody new, those citizens, their money is a fixed income. Their money, they don't get raises, they don't get any more money, but yet you're hiring managers and staff members and you're giving them raises after raises. Tanessa, you know what you actually been doing? I'm glad you did it. I had nothing against what you were doing in the past about questioning. And, this is the part where I do have to agree with Tanessa because it's wrong to be actually keep on giving new members, new staff members, or new city managers that amount of money. You have to draw the line. You're just a public official. You just make decisions for the people, but you're making decisions like it's your money. If it was your money, you wouldn't be just saying, okay, here you go, $300,000, and no, it's not your money. And you guys not looking at what's going to be coming ahead. It's going to change. It's going to get worse. Where are you going to get the money? Are you willing to bankrupt the city of Reading? Then what? You want Mr. Gavin Newsom to come over and take over? Or do you want the Kevin Cry to come over here and take over? Or any of the public officials to take over? Are you kidding me? You guys got to watch the budget. You can't keep on giving that kind of money to people that you think they're qualified. They're coming from Concord. They got this, they got that, and they have so many experience. So what? If they want the job, they want to move here, then you give them the lower amount and let them prove what they are capable of doing. Why are you giving something you haven't even seen the work yet? What? I don't get it. You guys are just going to bankrupt the city of Reading.
Okay, I do see a comment or question, Councilmember Danuka. So,
Well, am I allowed to say that what the vote was for the city manager's appointment? How many,
Yeah, I did research that issue. That is confidential as part of the closed session unless the council were to decide to waive that.
So my question to my fellow council people is that, is it okay for you? I'm not saying that the details, just what was the distribution of the vote amongst the five of us? Was it 5-0, 1-4, 2-3? Can we at least say that or not?
You can't waive just one thing. You got to waive it, then everything in that meeting comes over.
Can we just, what I just want to know is, can the public know? Because the reason I'm saying is, there is who voted for, not who even.
Yeah.
How many voted for, how many voted against? Can we say that or not?
This is up to the council. To Member Munz's point, I actually do think you would have the ability to go ahead and limit the scope of what it is that you wanted to disclose. Just be very clear in the motion as to what that
I
was.
do recall when Ms. Audette opened up the waiver of one of our meetings, and they told her everything would have.
I did ask for it.
I asked for it. Oh, you did ask for the whole
Sorry,
thing? Oh,
I
I'm
asked
sorry.
for everything on that one.
So my question is, just specifically, just so the public knows, what was the was it 5-0, was it 4-1, 3-2? Can we at least tell the public?
well,
Would like to
without
know.
opening up closed session, once we take the vote, if there's a motion and a second, if we don't like the outcome of the vote, would we then be able to open up the closed session comments, or do we need to do that before a vote on a motion?
You'd be able to do that at any time.
We can do that at any time. Okay. So, I mean, that would answer my question as far as the need to open up closed session is based on how the vote goes.
Right, so can I make a motion that we disclose to the public what was the number of votes for or against this manager's appointment?
We could. Wouldn't you like to see how the vote's going to go first?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then we'll decide if we open up closed session notes? Because
No.
what if it's
I'm sorry.
5-0, 4-1, 3-2?
Yeah, that's what I just want to know.
if
My
it's-
motion is, can we disclose to the public?
What's the purpose?
Are we anticipating this to be a
If this is a
contentious
5-0
issue?
vote, I don't think we need to open up closed session.
Right,
Maybe.
exactly. I'm not
Or
saying, yeah, exactly. I just want to tell the public that, okay, this was the vote, that's it.
Let us vote for this right now.
Well, we don't have a motion. Are there any other questions that we have at this point? So, I mean, you've made a motion. I haven't heard a second yet, but
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Tarbo. Can we do that? Are you entertaining, is that the motion you're entertaining?
No, no, we will do that. I just want to say, because the public has asked a question, that can they know that what was a vote on the,
I am simply saying, are we making a mountain out of a molehill?
Because I feel like there was several. So which one are you going to pick? There were several. So which one are you going to pick?
okay. So when we offered the appointment.
We have a first and a second.
Offered
The
appointment.
original offer.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we have a first and a second right here on this now.
Oh, we'll vote on this and then we'll vote on
I don't
yours.
know that he knows what, I don't know that he knows what he just said yes to.
I don't
I know.
think he knows either, so.
Why don't we take
How
a
about,
vote?
let's do this. I have not heard a second on yours,
Okay,
but I
that's
do have a
fine.
motion on yours.
I made a motion
second
and
it.
There's a second
to
over
appoint
there.
Mr. Tarbo, city manager, and consider approval of employment agreement.
Okay, so,
And just to be clear, I think the word consider was used. I want to be clear, the motion is to approve approve and give authorization to sign the employment agreement.
Yes.
that is correct. So,
Yes, as stated in staff report.
okay, so we're going to vote on that first, and then if there's any other motions that come after that, we'll entertain that. So is there any discussion on this motion at this time?
No.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? That is 5-0.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so now you want to make your motion? I'll give you
Well,
a second.
no,
I
I
do-
think,
want-
I think there's no need of that. But I just wanted to, I'll tell you
I
why.
was like, this is not a contentious issue.
No, because the reason
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
is,
this is
I'll
contentious.
second it.
I'll tell you the reason I'm saying this, because there's been a question that why are we giving someone whatever salary we are giving? And I just wanted the public to know about this, that this is a decision which we do not reach easily. All of us felt that this was what we had to do to get someone who is willing and able to do the job. So I just wanted to let the public know about that part, so that this is not something which was just controversial.
I think,
Okay, well, we've already voted, so we're going to move on to item number 9B. This one's going to be good. It's the city council updated list of department, commission, committee, and agency assignments for the year 2026, which means a lot more meetings you can come to and watch us. We'd love for you to be there too. So
Well, I
my
make a motion to accept
comments-
them.
Well, I mean, I get to make a few comments too.
Oh, you do? I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I mean,
okay,
I
well, I'll
just wanna-
second his motion
I-
after your comment.
It's information.
I'm over budget for what time I said
We
we'd get
just
out of
say,
here,
"Good
so
job."
it's already too late. So my only comments are, I get to pick these. I heard some feedback from not every council member. I think I heard from some, but I think this carries forward pretty much most of what we did last year, just a few shifts. I don't expect any quarreling or fighting over this stuff to attend more meetings, but I hopefully everybody's happy with what they got and gets to continue doing most of what you got to do last year. So, and if you didn't like what you did last year, then you certainly didn't tell me you want something different. So, we've seen the list. I hope you like it, and I'll entertain a motion. I think Jack.
No
It says
motion.
it's information only.
High five only.
Oh.
Good job.
All right. Well, I get 5 stars on that one, it looks
I'll
like.
complain later.
Okay, good.
Always 5 votes.
I'll complain later.
You'll complain later. Well, I will strip you of it, whatever you don't like, and I'll move you around, so I
All
can
of
do
that.
that, okay? All right, let's move on. So we're gonna accept an oral report from an ad hoc committee regarding the funding for the civic auditorium. I love ad hoc committees. I mean, they're great. So I don't know which one of you are gonna speak first. Some back history. We did put Councilmember Resner and Councilmember Audette to help look at the funding options for the Civic Center Auditorium and provide direction to staff. We did that so that way they can not have any appearance of violating Brown Act, and we gave them the authority to go have conversations and see what they can work up for any kind of solutions. So I don't know which one of you wants to speak.
Maybe I'll start listing who all we met with. I believe it was within 24 hours of that ad hoc committee being appointed. We met with Advanced Reading. We discussed the financial position of the city, our financial constraints. They gave their financial constraints. We discussed whether or not they would and are considering any sort of structural changes to their current business model. We discussed current changes that they would be willing to make to their board or that their board was entertaining. That felt like a positive meeting, at least that, from my perspective, in terms of Advanced Reading, seemed very open to lots of possibilities. However, from March 1st on, they are in need of funding to make it to the end of their fiscal year. After having that data, Councilmember Audette and I then met with others who we felt like had a vested interest in seeing the success of of the civic and entertainment in general. So we also met with RTMG and Choose Reading. We met with Turtle Bay, and we met with McConnell Foundation. You want to interject yet?
Yeah, I would just say that we're going to explore all of the options. Obviously, nobody wants to see, us lose anything in Reading. And so, but if anybody has an idea of someone you think that we should go talk to or any type of recommendation, we're happy to meet with people. We're going to continue to see what the options are and what the Civic's going to be willing and able to do in the coming months.
All right, so I did see there was two speakers. I probably should have let them speak first, so see what that kind of input they've got, because that will
I'd
help
love it.
dictate our discussion. So
love it.
I do see Leslie on here and Steve Kahn, but I think Steve might have left. If you stuck around, you would have got the tie for the most speakers today, so we're going to give it to you, Leslie, so.
Oh, man, Steve almost got to speak on every agenda item.
Well, I'll be super, super quick. If it comes to the taxpayers opening the checkbook and giving them more money, I think it needs to go to RFO or whatever it's called, RFP. And it needs to be brought back because we've poured a bunch of money in and we had the next meeting, oh, well, that money's all gone. We were counting on the sales tax thing, and if that doesn't go through, we're just shutting up shop, and we spent all that money. We really have no clue what that money went to, and so I'm gonna trust you, Tanessa, being on that ad hoc committee to hold them financially accountable. Sorry, I don't trust you to hold anybody accountable. I think you're friends with them. And I really, really am trusting in that. But if it comes to opening the checkbook again, I would be a hard no and think that we need to bring it back and let somebody else take over.
Okay, so now.
That was $750,000 for 6 months.
So Councilmember Munns is up, and then.
First, I would just like to hear from Travis. I think he has some valid information. So I would just like to hear from
I'd love that.
Travis.
Thank you. If you had any specific questions, I'd be happy to address those.
Well, some of the stuff we have talked about before, about the guy you spoke with and his assessments and.
Yeah, so since we've been discussing the subject, we've met with Advanced Rating ourselves, as well as a consultant who works on business models and planning for these types of facilities in terms of if you're going to issue an RFP, connecting you with people that can craft those, some of the pitfalls of these agreements, some of the typical operating models, and just basically did some kind of more third-party-ish market research. I did a whole interview with a company called Venue Solutions Group, and very enlightening, and they were able to actually go through, the city's actually retained them in the past for some consulting services, and I think Advanced Rating has as well, but they are experts in this field, and they were our go-to contact for this sort of thing, but they did comment on our facility and our model, and essentially filled us in that it was, atypical for communities to have a model where we have a third-party operator that will do things on our behalf and pay us rent. So it was nice because we're also in the midst of this, working with the Community Services Advisory Commission to reform the agreement. We haven't done any of that work since our second meeting, since we've formed this ad hoc committee as well. So, but we're still in the research phase so that we can understand what are other agreements, what are other models, how could the city proceed. We're also coming up with options. And so we worked with that consultant to be able to discuss those options, whether that's, issue an RFP, if you were to provide some sort of operating budget, things like that. So we did query them on these other models and if there's anyone that does it like us so that we could figure out, is there someone we could talk to and some other information out there. They were unaware of anyone that is doing business quite like us. Most are contracting with a group that provides a service, so it's a payment for that service. Their estimation was that we got a pretty good deal for 13 years, not having had to pitch in for that. We do have some major maintenance responsibilities for the facility. We've taken a look at those and made sure that we're quantifying those if we ever do come back with additional information. We also did take a look at what does it mean to mothball a facility, so we're trying to get some more hard numbers on that so that you will be aware of that in the future as well.
Do you know the cost?
Yeah,
If
that
it's
was-
closed, what it's going to cost us per month or per year to have a closed facility?
Yeah, the immediate cost and ongoing cost will be two different things. The immediate cost, in our estimation right now, for the first year would be about $676,000, I think is what, $676,000. There's also an immediate loss in sort of things that you can't feel as much, which include TOT. So there's a calculatable TOT contribution for having people come into town for shows at the Civic Auditorium, which is in the several $100,000 range. And there's the economic stimulus, which is harder to quantify, but there's definitely formulas that will get you there. But between just mothballing and TOT costs, which are easier to figure out, it's about $1 million of kind of instantaneous loss ongoing. You still have utilities and security, and then maintaining, fencing, things like that, plus ongoing grounds maintenance, which might land you still north of $500,000 a year. So it's still a substantial amount. Right now, we're avoiding that cost in our current model, but that is something that, in advanced ratings estimation is not going to be sustainable. So again, we did work with this consultant. We asked for other models, we asked for other operators. We talked about RFPs and some of the pitfalls there. They did advise us to retain a consultant if we were to go to RFP, because there are a lot of industry things that at this level, we are not experts. We are not aware of certain ways that contracts can be used for profit, essentially. So they did advise us to retain a consultant, not them. They weren't trying to pitch us on anything. They don't do that work specifically. They do also do work like back of house, business plans, things like that. And they said that that's always a service that's out there. And the last model that I don't recommend is for the city to do it itself, which we used to do. And I don't think that we should undertake that, but it is also an option that is out there.
I'm so happy to hear that you don't want to take it over.
Yeah.
That is a business.
That's the first time you've said that, so I
That is a
appreciate
business
that.
that's not easy.
I agreed. Why don't you come to our next ad hoc meeting? We're going to have it with you.
Yep.
I do have maybe just some feedback for the ad hoc to see next time you come back, or this might take more time for research, but I've just looked back over the 20, 25, 30 years to see how the Civic was funded in the past and understand the history. I believe the city of Reading used to allocate TOT tax to the Civic Center. And at some point, that funding stopped. I'm not sure if that's when Bethel came in to offer to rent the facility for the $300,000 a year. And so therefore TOT tax was pulled back to start spending in other areas of our general fund. But I am kind of intrigued to say, looking back, maybe bringing back a civic or tourism commission that we used to have, to see if that's the right avenue to consolidate all our tourism dollars, film commission, civic dollars, to see if that might be a funding source, as that's what we were doing in the past to help fund tourism and civic. And I know we're going to be having some budget conversations in the future, but it does seem like a clean way to explore looking at TOT tax for some funding of tourism and civic operations. And I'm not saying I need feedback today. I'm just saying maybe we can come back with some research to see what we had invested in the past using those TOT tax dollars, and would that be a viable option in the future to explore again? That's just my feedback for things. For the
Yeah,
ad
that's
hoc to look
definitely,
at.
that's definitely on the table, definitely discussed. The issue is, I think the operating budget is 1.6 per year, between 1.4 and 1.6
I
million.
get it.
So the 600,000 wouldn't be
We're still a
enough, but it
million
is
short.
something.
Well,
But
yeah,
it is something.
And with inflation and dollars, it's almost like maybe 30 years ago, they might have been putting $500,000 a year of TOT tax money. So I'm not sure what that would equivalent to today's TOT tax. But if that funding always continued using a certain percentage of TOT tax, just explore it, look at it. That's just my feedback for you guys. So look at it.
It's definitely a topic of discussion. It definitely has been discussed with each of those groups that we said that we met with. Not that that is not going to be discussed or potentially brought back. However, it doesn't get us to the number that we have to get to. That is, so I'll just say in general, even going to everyone and asking everyone for some gap funding, we still come to the point of there's a gap. And it's a rather large gap. And even if we took if we took the entire, we clawed back somehow, we are legally allowed to claw back the entire Visit Reading contracted, there would still be a gap. And so that is the real tight position that I believe that the 5 of us are in and the community in general, that we simply cannot, we do not have the finances to be able to float it at the moment. So we will meet with Travis and see if he has any other different ideas.
Yeah, and we'll
And-
continue down the same roads we're traveling down and then bring it back to you at the next meeting. We'll just bring up an update every meeting.
Yeah. If that's fine with you guys, we could do that.
It's going to be a shorter ad hoc than rodeo, right? So just.
Not even close.
Not even close. Okay, well, all right. Jack, Councilmember Munns, you've got it.
I just remember talking to Travis that his consultant said, pretty close, that none of the civics or auditoriums like ours make money. None of them. He said if there's a very small venue in a big city, then you might make a little profit. But this is going to have some sort of commitment from us or commitment from some of the people that your guys is going to be. So
Yeah, that's the issue. The issue is, can we get to 1.6 million to operate it? And the answer is no, so.
I make a motion to approve.
We
Or
don't need to.
accept.
approve anything.
You can accept.
So,
We can accept our sad news.
Thank you.
Well, clearly, we have this huge challenges. This is the 800-pound gorilla that we are facing, which Leslie, you were mentioning earlier. Where is the finance committee structure approval? When is that on calendar? When is the finance?
You can bring that up in item 12.
Well, I know, and I'm just making
You're
comment
just
here. Yeah, I'm not
not
asking.
supposed
So I'm
to
just
talk
saying
about
is,
that at this
those are the things which you need to address, and I hope that the last 1 week is behind us and we can focus on the real issues like this.
Okay. Do you have any comments on the Civic Center or the ad hoc? Nothing like that?
Or direction, anything for us?
Right.
I would, I'm just hoping that these 2 people will come up with some money.
They're going to come up with the whole plan,
Personal
so
money.
they
We
will.
are
We're going to come up with a
Shake-
plan. You may not like it, but we're
Yeah, you
coming
may
up.
not
Personal
like it,
money.
but we're coming up with a plan.
Okay. I don't see anybody else that wants to speak on that when we can move on. So unless there's anything, okay. We're going to go to council travel reports. Is there anything to report?
No.
I don't see anybody there. All right, line item 12, suggestions from council members relative to potential topics for future city council members. Let's go with Councilmember Danuka, you're first.
Well, I would like to know when is our finance committee approval planned? What is the date, when is it on the calendar?
I'm going to
Do we
guess
know?
that's for our new city manager to bring in. Or is this something that you're working on, Carrie?
My understanding is that the ordinance is being drafted, and that.
Resolution?
Do we have an estimated timeline on when we can bring it?
It would be a resolution. I would say we've been sidetracked by some matters. We could move it to the front of the pile, but frankly, if you want to do it, say, for one of the first or second meetings of the new city manager, that would work out well in terms of our current workload.
Do you have any opposition to the 17th?
Of January?
No, the 20th is our next meeting.
Wait, so we just need to get the parameters, then we're gonna need to vote on who it is, and then you gotta ask them if they wanna do it, and then they have to accept if they wanna do it, and then you have to go out and, set a meeting with those people. So I think we should utilize all the meetings that we have to get to that point. It's probably not gonna meet for a while, so if we wait till we actually form it for another month, then it's another month after that. And our
So you wanna
Q2 is
make
coming
the
out at the end
20
of February. So
Okay,
the-
so
I would like
you
to
wanna-
hear their proposal as soon as possible, so
Like the
these
20th.
steps can take.
Yeah, like, can the
Sure.
20th, you give us the parameters, so then we
We can
have
make
that, we vote on the
corrections.
parameters.
Does that put
so
other
that-
things on the back of the burner? Or
So,
we,
If the council is okay with it, we could bring it back in a fashion, if we're not able to get a full resolution by that time, we could bring it back in a fashion that would get the direction, solidify what it is that
That's
you
fair-
want.
that's fair enough.
And then would
Because once
allow
you-
planning for next steps.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because once we vote on that, then the next step is we got to go ask those people.
So-
It's just going to take a while.
to speed things up, would this be an option,
I
and
don't
maybe
wanna
the
put
council
other
would
things
like
on the
this,
back
is I'm assuming that you're gonna have this document in a draft form. Would there be a possibility to speed things up, to have like a one-on-one meeting with each council member to gather feedback about the draft document, to consider
already do
changes? So that way, when it comes back to council, we've kind of sped up the process a little bit.
The only thing is, per the Brown Act, I'm not supposed to be soliciting consensus.
You wouldn't be
yeah.
sharing our individual feedback, you'd just be asking for feedback.
Just
about
bring it.
theirs.
It'll be
I-
the normal agenda. She'll create it.
We can
We'll
bring an
talk to
item on
them
the
about
20th.
it. and it comes.
Okay,
Yeah, that'll be great, thank you.
okay. Councilmember Audette, you're up.
Well, I'd also like to schedule the first budget meeting, because again, revenue meeting is just the revenue. None of the cuts, because all of that stuff will have to be with a new city manager. But to start to change the revenue assumptions, it's going to take a few meetings as well, and we should get that started right away. That's not subjective to what the city manager wants. It's to what our performance is. And we've got Q2 coming at the end of February, and so we should probably do some revenue adjustments as soon as possible. So that, as a first step, then you get to the next step, which is the cuts that are going to come when the new city manager gets here. So can we schedule the first of the revenue assumption meeting
When do you want it?
So,
as soon as possible?
How about we just agree that we would like it to occur in the next month, and then figure out when because you're asking for a special meeting, right? Or are you asking to put it on?
I would assume that needs to be a special meeting. So I would say, we were told it was going to happen the second week in January. So I would say either next week or the week after, but moving beyond that, we're just going to delay.
Can we ask
Because we're probably
Camille
going to have 2 meetings in January.
I don't disagree with that, but can Camille work on scheduling that, and we just say in the next like 2-ish?
How about the next, like,
Next couple of
business
weeks.
weeks?
I think the goal is
Next
to
few
bring it
weeks.
back within a month or
Next
so,
couple
but
of
we can
weeks,
start
yeah.
looking at
I
calendars
think the
and
next couple of
schedules.
weeks,
If it's
not a month.
Mike, you're the one that sets that.
Yeah, if it's not going to come back to our regular calendar.
No,
hearing,
we're
we want
voting.
a special meeting, is that correct? We want a special meeting, is that?
We want a special meeting in the next 2 weeks, either next week.
I don't need that quick.
I would say.
You do,
give-
because you need several.
I said give them some flexibility depending on the availability next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks. So before the 23rd.
Okay,
No,
I don't
specifically,
know.
we're going to
I-
vote. Do we want it before the 23rd?
let me figure it out.
I would like it by the end of the month. I
Right.
would like it
I
as
would say
soon
that's
as
more realistic.
possible.
As soon as
This is going to be my super honest answer, that January is an absolute like packed disaster for me. So I'm going to need to move some stuff around so that I can make that happen. And I would like it to happen as fast as possible. So I
Because you know,
I would be fine if it ended up being the like 23rd, or if it ended up being the 26th, or if it ended up being the 14th or the 7th.
or if it happens to be after 7
I'm not
o'clock,
giving those specific days. I'm just saying,
or if it's late at night.
It's not.
I can do it late at night, otherwise,
I'm just saying, I can't commit to a specific day
Right.
on this dais right now without looking at
Let
my
Camille
entire
find the date.
calendar. But I would like it ASAP.
Okay, so we're going to check
Like,
calendars and we're going to
fast.
circle around. I hear that. Okay. I don't see anything else there, so.
I have one more.
Oh, you
I'd
got
like
one
to
more.
know the update on the motocross lease. They've been locked out of their facility that
Sounds
they
great.
have
Yes,
paid for,
I agree.
cultivated, and it's been delay, and I'd like an update at the next council meeting for what's happening with the motocross lease.
yes.
Sounds great.
Good. All right, anything else?
From the airport manager, you mean, right?
Anybody willing to give it?
Airport manager should come and give us an update.
Okay. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
So reopen the,
yeah.
we're back. All right, we're going to go back into closed session to talk about item 3A. We'll be back.
Curtis, would you please report any reportable action or not?
Certainly. The city council met in closed session to consider item 3A. There was no reportable action on item 3A.
Any other thing? We're adjourned.